This is the very best part.
Oh, you're peeling off the...
What makes things oddly satisfying? It's a fun question, because we all agree that it happens, but it shows how mysterious our brains can be, even though we're inside them. And after billions of years of developing, some things our brain does might not be useful in the modern world, or might even be beyond our ability to understand, but not all of them. If we look at the different things our brain actually does, and some of the tricky ways it's come to do them, and maybe we can get into that today. The idea of things being oddly satisfying is really all over the internet, in videos where people are doing a bunch of different things. It seems to be one of those terms that popped up once we started talking and sharing thoughts with ourselves on a massive scale, and which turned out to label an experience that basically all of us have, but didn't know others did too. Certain things, usually small sounds or little things we see or do, give us a little hit of pleasure, almost similar to when we get a hug or feel complete. It seems to be a smaller version of what we've also called the warm and fuzzies. It makes sense that we'd have a feeling like that when we're around people we care about and feel safe and loved, but odd satisfaction seems to happen in many other cases too. Like when we hear certain sounds.
Nice.
Okay, I heard that land.
It's a satisfying thunk.
Yeah.
When we do certain things. Or even when things move a certain way. They all might seem different, but they also might have something in common, in terms of what they mean to us. When people hug us, like we said, it gives us that feeling of being safe and loved. This is something we want to be true, and the hug actually confirms it. Likewise, if we're trying to do something specific, like throw that beanbag onto the table, the noise it makes confirms that we did it. Or if we finish a project and we peel off the covering on the plaque that has the names of all the workers, that action confirms that we did it and that we're all together as a group. But beyond even that, we sometimes have expectations about the world, like that things will end up in certain places. And if it looks like a bouncing logo will hit a certain spot and it doesn't, that means our expectations weren't true. We didn't make a good prediction, and we feel tension. But if the thing finally does hit that exact spot, it confirms that we were able to predict the world well. And on top of it, hitting that nice even spot means the world is more stable and predictable in general. If we stay in a situation like that, where we know what's going on and people care about us, then we're much more likely to survive. So it makes sense that we would have developed a pleasurable feeling that rewards us when that happens, and makes us want to do things, hear things, or be around things that show us in real terms that that's going on. And imagine how much we'd like a world where everything does that for us. Now, of course, we do have other feelings that encourage us to achieve other things in life, but I think this is pretty clearly one of them. And when we look at examples of various things that are oddly satisfying, I think we can see how they each show us that we make good predictions, that we can affect the world, or that people care about us. And so we attach that feeling to a clear sound or action that goes with it. But at the same time, there are some sounds or actions that are not necessarily satisfying, that I think underline the point. Like, for example, if the layer on that plaque didn't peel off all the way, our expectation wouldn't be fulfilled, and the action wouldn't be complete. So we'd feel tension. Or if she dropped the plaque, that sound wouldn't satisfy us either. Or likewise, when people load a firearm in the movies, it seems to depend on who is doing it. If it's a threat to the hero or someone we care about, we feel tension instead of satisfaction. But if it's the hero getting ready for action, then we probably do feel satisfied. So I think this whole idea shows something interesting about what's going on inside our heads. The brain has a limited number of pleasure chemicals and seems to have developed to use them to reflect a lot of different situations, in order to encourage us to do what helps us survive and have children. And they have different levels of power, depending on how much they help us, which we can talk about later. But in this case, we have a chemical that seems to give us this warm and fuzzy feeling when things we want to believe in life are confirmed, in a lot of different ways. And most importantly, I think it shows that we can learn about these things, and if we do, it may turn out that what our brain likes isn't so odd after all. Thanks for watching, like, comment, and subscribe, and finishing this video is satisfying for me.